Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Tarot Scopes. We're going to be doing the Tarot Scopes for the sign of Taurus. That's Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising for the month of October 2023. So let's get started. All right, Taurus. Well, we have some visual aids this month. This is for the sign of Taurus. And we look at the sun first. The sun starts the month in the sign of Libra and then moves into the sign of Scorpio. Libra is your house of health and well-being, your sixth house, your house of work. There's a lot of energy in that house this month. We have the sun there, we have Mercury there, we have Mars there. And then the sun moves into Scorpio on the 23rd. And then the sun moves into your house of relationships. So relationship becomes a little bit more of a feature. We also have Mercury move into that house as well. And so the sun and Mercury are pretty close to each other, moving together. Now, speaking of Mercury, Mercury was retrograde and spent a whole lot of time in Virgo. That was your fifth house of creative self-expression. Part of that time it was retrograde, so you had to sort of re-edit some of your some of the things you had to say, some of your creative projects. Now Mercury is moving direct, and so things can move direct. It does move into let's see, it goes from Virgo into Libra. It is in Libra, let's see, until it moves into Libra on the 4th, and it's there until the 22nd. And that's your house of work and your house of service. And so this is applying your minds to those areas of life, including your health. So this is a time when maybe you want to read something or learn something about how to better support yourself, support your physical health. It's been hard on Taurus is generally a pretty solid and stable sign because Uranus has been sitting in your sign for quite a few years now, and so it's a more challenging time for Taurus because you guys like things stable and Uranus is anything but stable. And so sometimes you've had to like react to situations that you weren't quite ready for. But you know, with practice, we all get better at it. So focusing your mind on issues of health and well-being is good. And then it moves into your house of relationships. And that's when it really pays to start talking to your the people you're in relationship with. You know, clear the air, get it out there, say what you need to say, but of course say it with kindness, because nobody likes to be pointed at and scolded. So we don't want to do that. Venus, which is your ruling planet, has been in the sign of Leo. It actually spends the first, let's see, when does Venus move? The first 8 days in Leo, excuse me, and then moves on to Virgo, where it's a little bit more persnickety. Venus has been sitting in that fourth house for a long time. It was retrograde. Perhaps you did some renovation of your house. Now things are moving forward. So things that you were planning on or trying to get together or get the money for, things start to move in a forward direction with that. And then quickly it moves on the 8th, it moves into the next house and moves into the sign of Virgo. And that's really dealing with the details. A lot of thinking, a lot of pondering. Venus and Virgo is going to help us to do the work that's necessary and do it in a more perfecting way. Adjustments may be necessary both in your creative projects and also your relationships. Adjustments need to be made. We need to be humble through this period, self-effacing to a certain extent. And once it does move into Libra, it's going to be a little bit more in its element, but that's not happening until next month. So there is some work to be done, let's just put it, on our relationships this month. Mars, the planet of action, starts the month in Libra. That is your sixth house of health. It's been there for a while, about 6 weeks. It spends in Libra. And so hopefully you've been applying your energy to doing things that make you healthier, having a more balanced perspective on things, perhaps. It does move into Scorpio on the 12th, and that's going to be in your house of relationship. That's when things can get a little spicy and dicey with Mars in the sign of Scorpio, in that house for you, the seventh house. It is also the house of open enemies, so you might find out that somebody is not well intentioned towards you. Mars in Scorpio knows how to take care of itself, so you will do what you need to do. That's not the issue. But there is a need to be sort of more psychologically oriented, and just to keep your eyes open for rats in the ship, I guess you could say. Jupiter is retrograde all month. It moves from the 15th to the 11th degree of your sign, Taurus. It's in that first house. Hopefully, Jupiter in the first house isn't making you too chubby, because it can do that. But it is moving backwards. So maybe you need to rethink how you nurture your body. There's a lot of that energy in this month for you, with Jupiter retrograde in that first house, and then Mars and Mercury and the Sun in that sixth house of health. We also have a new moon solar eclipse in that sixth house of health. It's happening at 22 degrees of Libra, and that's happening on, what day is that? That is looks like the 14th of the month. Am I right? Yes, I am right. This can be a little bit of a health crisis, so be aware of that. Of course, you've been sort of working on the health anyway, or should have been working on the health. And if you haven't, this might be the time when it really comes down. You also have a full moon, lunar eclipse in Taurus, in your sign, in your first house, with the second, and with the moon in the first house and the sun in the seventh house. The axis of relationship really is highlighted. Sometimes our health is a lot depends on who we relate to and how much energy we have to expend, and whether it's a positive experience or a negative experience. So that's just something to think about as you move through the month of October. But your health is highlighted this month, and there are a lot of inconjuncts and a lot of adjustments necessary, especially in the first and the third week of the month. And so do what you need to do to guarantee that you're going to be here for a long, long time. Really pay attention to your health. Uranus, of course, is retrograde right now. It's still in Taurus in that first house. Uranus frees us from what we know into what we don't know. There's always this sense of the unknown with Uranus, but it's necessary. It's a necessary awakening. And so perhaps you're awakening to your true spirit, to who you truly are, and what you're here to do. So there's that. Of course, Uranus is in Taurus for 7 years, so this is a long-term thing for you guys. Neptune spends the month at 26 degrees of Pisces. Neptune is in your house of friends, along with Saturn. Saturn is retrograde. Yes, Saturn is retrograde this month. Only moves about a degree, from 1.5 degrees to a half degree of Pisces. This is really figuring out who your friends are, honestly, and then also what your goals are. This can be a reorientation of your goals. I really feel like Taurus is in a state of flux, and it's not just because of Uranus. There are other things happening where it's like you're trying to figure out the new rules of the game. The new rules of the game. I have a lot of Tauruses in my life, and I know, but they make the best of it. They do. They're very pragmatic. They're like, oh, this is something else I have to do, I will do it. And that's my father-in-law, who's a Taurus. I love doing his accent, but hopefully he's not listening, because he gets mad when you do his accent. A German Taurus. Yikes. Anyway, the German bull, very serious. And then Pluto goes direct. This month goes direct on the 10th, the 1010 portal. Better keep your eyes peeled for that reading, right? Pluto goes direct at 28 degrees of Capricorn. That's right on the United States. Saturn, incidentally. But it really is, it's moving out of Capricorn. It has one little more time at the end of next year, in the fall of next year, where it spends a little time in Capricorn, that last degree. So it's not quite done, but it's almost done. And Pluto has been there for a long time in your house of the truth and your philosophy of life. Eventually, now again, moving into Aquarius in January, where it spends most of the year, and then those a little bit going back into that ninth house, making sure you know the truth about things, and then moving into Aquarius for 20 years. So Pluto will be up there in that 10th house for a long time yet to come. But there's still a couple of things that you have to figure out, still a couple of rules of the game, philosophies, ethics, what's the truth, what's not the truth, maybe a bit of a spiritual challenge that you're still working stuff out. But there's one thing about Taurus, you're persistent and you get it done, and one foot in front of the other. Slow and steady wins the race, Taurus, even when Uranus is blowing stuff up. Okay. All right, that's what I want to say about the astrology. So now let's look at the cards. I'm going to be using, well, what am I using? Oh, this Modern Spellcasters deck for Taurus. Let's give it a little shuffle here. Alrighty. Charlie in the background. I'm busy, Charlie. I love that boy. Mom is busy. In my Virgo reading, he was right here. He had to be right here. No, no. Go lay down, Bubby. Love, love, love. Relationship. Relationship is in focus for you. That's kind of what the astrology said. It's a relationship that needs to be based on an ability to both nurture each other, but be able to stand on your own 2 feet at the same time. It's not that codependent, I need you, I can't live without you kind of weirdness that can sometimes manifest itself. It really is about, I'll drink from your cup, you drink from my cup, but we both have a cup. It's like a choice. It's a choice to share. Let's see the challenge with that. The Hanged Man. There's a sense of not being in control of what's going on. And of course, with Uranus sitting in your sign since 2018, who could blame you? There is this sense that you have that there are certain things that need to change, and there are certain things that you can do to help that change, but there are certain things that it's up to fate. It's just not in your hands, and that's not really a good feeling. That doesn't make you feel secure, but that's the way it is, and you kind of know that on some level. Underneath it all, we have the Knight of Swords. This is a card of somebody who tends to jump into things without thinking. Now, that's not generally you. So this could be somebody who's causing trouble. Could be as the root of the reading here, somebody who creates chaos. It's interesting that he's riding a bull, right? And this is the Taurus reading. But let's continue and see what else is going on here. In the past, we have the Three of Wands. This is, you've put your feelers out, you've put the information out, you're getting, you're putting it out into the world, and looking for opportunities as they come. We have the Page of Wands in the sky. This is messages. This is really about keeping your ear, not so much to the ground, although you could. That's a good way to know what's coming, right? Can you hear the hooves coming? Can you hear the train coming down the track, right? Can we hear it? Can we feel it vibrationally? But it's also about listening and paying attention to the signs that nature have to give us. So it's saying, pay attention, pay attention. Immediate future. We have the Strength card. It's kind of a nice card. It's a very sexy card. It has that energy that you see the snake down here. This is a Kundalini energy. It's a Leo energy. It's the energy of self-expression. I really think that this is going to be a time for you to actually get to express and really talk about the things that you need to talk about. And this is because we had the Two of Cups as the first card. This is really, I think there's going to be some really deep discussions around intimacy and maybe what you need, are your needs being met? And Taurus is all about your essential needs. I say Taurus likes a good back rub, a good meal, a good amorous situation, and a good poop. All those things that make your body feel good are Taurus. And so that is a focus this month for you, to, you know what you like and you need to express it. Okay. How it's seen from the outside. Woo, the Ace of Swords. I'm not going to say anything about that one. It's very phallic, as it were, but it's also about the truth. It's about making a decision. It can be about cutting away something. So maybe people around you see the necessity for you to take an action, to cut something away that maybe is not in your best interest. But let's continue and see what the rest of the cards say. We have the Page of Pentacles in the domestic situation. This is new opportunities, new projects. You like that. You always like to have a project, Taurus, right? Could also be a young woman or a young man. Page can be either. A student. Maybe you get a student this month. If you have that kind, if you do that kind of thing. Hopes and fears is the King of Cups. The hope with the King of Cups is that there's somebody who loves you and is going to take care of you and takes the responsibility seriously the way you do. The fear can be that it's like getting involved in more emotional stuff with maybe somebody who doesn't necessarily see their emotional issues, and maybe project them onto you. So it depends on where you're at and who I'm talking to here. You can take it either way. The outcome is the Ace of Wands. Well, that's good. This is creativity, something new, a new project, spirit. This is a Leo vibration. Remember, the Venus is just coming out of Leo now. And so whatever you've been mulling over with the Venus being retrograde in Leo for so long, I feel like by the end of the month, you're coming out with your creation. You're coming out with your creation. Let's see what else we have. And then we have the Death card, which is about change. So you come up with something new, and that's when everything changes. Let's look underneath. We have the Nine of Cups, which is about wish fulfillment or getting your wishes. Five of Cups, which is sorrow about not getting your wishes, but, taking the time to mourn and then moving on with what you have left. And then the Seven of Pentacles. This card is, it's many things, but one of the things that I always say about this card is that sometimes you have to prune in order to strengthen the plant. So there may be some pruning that's necessary. It does kind of look like you're going to be making some pretty important decisions around relationship. And it'll have to do with how it affects you, right? How how, it's all well and good to relate to somebody, but what's the price you're paying for it? And I think that's maybe some of the stuff that is going to come up for you this month. All right. Let's pull a animal oracle. This is the Spirit Animal Oracle by Collette Baron-Reid. I do love her work. I like her cards. I like what she writes. She's very, very tapped in. And let's see what spirit animal wants to speak to you, Taurus. Lord of the forest. All right. What do we have here? Fox. Excuse me. What does it say? Think on your feet. I'll read it from the book. I had a dream the other night about a fox, weirdly enough. I think it was because I was watching videos and there was a video of a person patting a fox. And then I dreamt of it. Okay. Fox spirit. Be alert now, for Fox spirit has appeared, and you are meant to move swiftly. Let this clever spirit draw you to your creativity as you adjust to rapidly changing circumstances with resilience, grace, and astuteness. Fox spirit helps you to think on your feet, using your best judgment and wits to help you slip into a more advantageous situation. Now is not the time to hesitate, but a time for swift action. And it's interesting because that was the card at the base of the reading, swift action, right? The Knight of Swords, as it were. Swift action of the mind, a time to think outside the box. Well, luckily, Uranus is in your sign, huh? And notice that the many ways in which you might make a move, aware of your surroundings and always clear on what you deserve and wish to co-create. Trust that your cleverness, guided by Fox spirit, will serve you well. Changes. Thinking on your feet with all that Uranian energy now, it's like fireworks at your feet. You can do this, Taurus. You can do this. You're light of foot. All right. Not usually what they say about Taurus, but now it's true. All right. Have yourself a wonderful month. Like and subscribe if you would. If you give me the thumbs up, it helps with the algorithm. More people can see these readings, and that's helpful to, I think, more people, and also to me. If you'd like to become a patron, there is a link below. If you'd like a reading with me, I do astrology, Kabbalah, numerology, combination readings. I have an hour or an hour and a half that you can do. If it's your first reading, I like the hour and a half because it's just more time to talk about you. But whatever you can, whatever you can manage, that's fine as well. I can do it in an hour. I just talk a little faster, perhaps. Yeah, I'll see you again next month. Have a wonderful month, and you can do this. It's not going to be not an easy peasy month, but it is a month that on the other side of it, you'll be glad that you went through it. Pretty sure that's true. All right, guys, take care. Much love. See you next month for the November Tarot Scopes. But until then, stay light on your feet. Much love. Namaste.